Welcome to Unscripted Laughter, Season 2, Episode 2, The Big Double Two, or as the Spanish like to say, dos, or as the French like to say, do, or as well, that's all the language lessons I got for now. If you want more, I'm going to have to ask for payment. So, to start things off in this episode, I want to take everyone back in time to something I created in grade school. I used to love pirates when I was a kid, because what's more better than stealing?
Aiden Krause does not endorse piracy.
In response to my desire, I drew this awesome looking picture in my class that may or may not resemble a toy I used to play with. As you can see here, this picture has about everything a pirate-loving kid could dream of. Giant sharks, sea serpents, lighthouses, islands, a treasure chest, and whatever that's supposed to be. I don't know what it is, but it looks awesome. Overall, not too shabby for a 8-year-old kid. So, you may be wondering why I brought this up to your guys' attention. Well, like I said, I created this during my class, during class time hours, during like free time or something. We were done with homework and I decided to start drawing a pirate picture because I really like pirates. Well, the problem with this was I was scared that the teacher was going to see this picture and think it was too violent. And she would have to take up my pirate picture and place it whoever knows where. It could be in the trash, or even worse, it could be in the teacher's desk. That's even worse than the trash. So, to try and fight this option, being my super anxious self back in grade school, I decided to draw something that was a little bit more kid-friendly on the other side of it. So, to bring this up to context of the situation, I drew this picture maybe around Christmas time or like November or something like that. And I decided, well, maybe like I should try drawing like a Santa Claus picture or something like that on the other side. So when the teacher would walk by, I would draw the Santa picture, something that was like kind of kid friendly. And when she would walk away, I'd start drawing the pirate picture again. So in response to that, this is what I drew on the other side. Yeah, it is not exactly, I mean, it is child friendly, I'll say that much, but I'm not gonna lie, this thing kind of disturbs me, being a 25-year-old adult. This looks like something you would see on the internet to try and scare children that of the same age I was when I was a child. What makes it even worse is the fact that I had the tagline, "He's here," which kind of sounds very similar to another kind of story a lot of people of the internet now know today. Then just looking at the way Santa's eyes just pierce into your soul, it just kind of gives me the shivers. What's even worse is the hairline doesn't even match up. I don't know if like it's just me being crazy, but that kind of looks weird as well. What's up with that elf? Like, look at his ears are like razor blades. Like they're like the kind of the rocks you see in like children's cartoons, where they're scared that they're gonna get pierced by it. And then you got the Snowman, which is probably like the most friendly looking one of all of them. But him and those black coal eyes kind of look disturbing as well. Not to mention that coffee stain or whatever stain that is. I apologize. This picture used to be on the fridge for the longest time, but thankfully it was the pirate picture, not this monstrosity. The Snowman, he looks more like an egg though than a snowman. Anyways, this has nothing to do with anything regarding this picture. Just overall, all three of these characters staring into your soul is a little bit more disturbing than my pirate picture, I would have to say. So, lesson learned from the end of the day, sometimes things may not seem as bad as you want, and sometimes in trying to fix that, you might actually make it a little bit worse. So, just remember next Christmas season, he's here. To move on with things in this episode, as for skits, I want to show you all to the first skit I ever created. This also happens to be the first skit I ever wrote. This also happens to be the first skit I ever acted in. This also happens to be the first skit I ever did stunts for. I should put that on a resume. You hear that, Hollywood? Attempting to stay on topic here, we have another piece of lost media that tells the story of a die-hard collector who is willing to do anything to achieve his fine edition. But what happens when a child picks up the artifact first? The collector has the answer to that question. Discontinued 1974 Santa pregnancy test. Distributed 1 month before being recalled in all states for choking hazards. Except Florida. Hey, I saw that.
Finders keepers.
Candy, money, a father?
The first will do. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I want half ownership.
Just give it to me.
No.
Hello, I'm a registered offender. Hello, I am a registered offender. Hello, I just moved into the neighborhood. I am a registered offender for bribing and threatening a child.
Was it worth it?
Yes. As you can see, the collector had some potential behind-the-scenes issues with its production. Nevertheless, it was still able to be saved as a lost media project, I guess you could say. Here I have Unscripted Laughter veteran Emily Walden to discuss her role as well as some of the behind-the-scenes information on the skit. You're up, Emily.
Hi, my name is Emily, like you said. So when we did the skit, it was before COVID, so it was post-COVID, everything. I think actually the next day was when it was like everything got shut down. It was crazy. But before, there were still a lot of crazy situations when we filmed. We were in the MUC, which is the, not the MUC, the MMC, the Mass Communications Building, and the music building as well. Sorry, forgive me. I don't know titles of names. But we were in there and we were trying to film like with students around us. And so it's got a little hush hush. So we were like, we don't want to make a lot of noise, but we got to record in here. And it was so funny. We had like everything set out on the table and then we were trying to like not be super loud, but like we had a film so it'd be louder, you know? So that was really funny. Everyone on campus was hilarious. And then, oh my goodness. So I think his name is Bailey.
Oh yeah, Bailey.
Bailey. Okay. So he was hopping around. He was amazing. Like he was getting in all his poses and he was like getting the perfect shot and he was like getting up. It was so funny doing that. And I was dressed up like a child. I was the child in the video. And like I had to walk around campus like that before and there people were like, is she okay? You know, it was so funny. But that's part of it, you know, it's the fun of it.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask, so how did it feel playing a child in this film?
It was a little like, I'm gonna have to be the child, but it was a lot of fun too because I got to like mess around with it. I got to dress up and I had a little stuffed animal that I have here and tucked it under my arm. And then I had like these stickers. I don't know why, but I had these stickers and I like put them on my face and put my hair up in pigtails. And I was like, I'm a little girl. And I thought it was so fun dressing up. And like I was the shortest person there, so I had to be the child, but it was fun. I loved it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so one of the things that was really fun about or interesting about this film was, like I said, we did have a lot of behind the scenes trouble, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
For one, we had. I think the first thing we had a problem with was the location. We tried to shoot it in one place, and they said we couldn't unless we had like permission, and we had to just shoot it in like a public access place, which kind of went against the layout a little bit because we had to go from making the setting from a store into a garage sale or something, which was actually a pretty interesting idea. Come to think of it,
Good save there. Yeah.
yeah. I remember like we had a lot of fun, just kind of like thinking, oh, how much are we going to make this and how much are we going to make that? And in the final product, I don't know if you can really see it too much, but we actually like put some jokes in where like some of the prices on things were just overpriced. Like I think we even
Yeah,
had,
we did. It was like it was like sunglasses and they were like $200. They were just like knockoff Ray-Bans or something. It was so funny.
yeah, and we had like it was like an audio mixer for like
Yeah.
$2 or something.
Yeah. We had all the random stuff that we could find out of our backpacks, and we just put it all on the table. We're like, here we go. What's this notebook worth? And they're like 50 cents, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, it was funny. It was funny also watching the people watch us setting everything out and us looking like how we did. They were just like, because they didn't know what we were doing. We were like filming and everything. It was funny.
Yeah. I remember a lot of the stuff in this skit was actually improv too, or like made on the set. Like some of the stuff we did like was actually brought in last minute. Like the beginning where I jump off the balcony.
Yeah,
that was
I didn't even know that was a part of it in the beginning.
Yeah. That was our director, or the first portion. I guess I'll get more into this in a little bit, but the first portion of the skit was directed by Bailey Gower, and he had this idea to just kind of do that and all these other shots, which actually came out really nice in the end. But yeah, he had the idea of me jumping off the balcony. I was like, oh, that sounds awesome. Let's go with it.
I mean, I'm sure the people watching were like, oh my gosh, he's about to jump off the balcony. But like, you really didn't. But the way it was edited was so like smooth that you just were like, oh, he did it. He jumped off the balcony. It was funny.
I think we did like 3 or 4 takes of that too, which is kind of funny.
We did a lot of takes of that. And then and the ending scene was my favorite. The reason why was because the behind the scene footage, I was trying so hard not to laugh because we were in the music hall and you could hear all of the instruments playing. And I was trying so hard not to laugh. And I was in this skirt and in heels. And I was like peering over everyone. It was so funny. I was standing on a chair. I was like, oh, this is hilarious. And you had all the music in the background. It just made it funnier. And then Paul with his security guard outfit on. It was so funny.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, that was pretty funny. Like that little badge I think we made last minment.
Yeah, it was like paper.
So much of the stuff in this skit was made last minute. It's kind of funny to look back at. But yeah, one of the things I really loved about that ending scene was there was a shot with me holding that Santa Claus monstrosity. And you could just hear this operatic voice in the background, like it was like this grand thing that I was holding.
Yeah,
it just fit. It fit so perfectly.
It did. It was funny. That whole filming of that part, I was cracking up the whole time, and it was the person that hit you. We were like, "Oh, did he actually fall over?" I totally thought you like hit your head or something when you fell down. It was so funny. It was like soap opera, like, it was funny.
Oh yeah.
Really thought you fell over.
Me and my insane stunts. One of those times I think I actually did hit my head on the door. And someone was actually in the other room too, so I was really hoping that they weren't going to come out and just be like,
get onto it. I thought they were going to so many times. Oh, that was so funny. Yes, so we do our own stunts. That's very true. We don't get any
no stunt doubles here. we can't afford that.
No.
So I guess one of the thing that I probably should bring up is as it was obvious, we did have some audio trouble and some video trouble. Video actually came out a little bit better though. Video not so much. We but the audio was actually recorded. All of this was from a cell phone, believe it or not. And the video was video came out perfect, but the audio just needed to be fixed up a bit. And I actually took that. Like this was done, and I'll get on that more too. But this was done before COVID, obviously, and it's been sitting just kind of on our computers or on my computer for months now. So eventually I went back and completed the audio, or tried to fix up what I could from the audio, salvage what I could. I think I might have done a voiceover, but I don't think I did. Added some sound effects, and we have the final piece.
Yeah. But the fact that it was filmed all on a cell phone, just saying, technology these days is flawless. Like, there's no way. I mean, like, of course there were some minor issues, but still, like, there's obviously going to be audio problems because there's other people in the vicinity. But besides that point, you know, the fact that we could get it all, you know, on a cell phone is amazing. So
yeah, it's really interesting to look back at now.
it is. It seems like such a world away though. That only happened a year ago, and it's like feels like it's been 10 because of everything that's happened. Like I said before, it was the day after. It was like right before spring break, and then when we got to spring break, that's when they canceled the rest of like in-person classes, and we were like, what? Like, it was the last time we really saw each other in person. So it's crazy how much has happened since, you know.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And this like I was saying, you can tell this is before COVID and stuff, because it's not nearly as loud in the building as it used to be. It might be. I don't spend a lot of time there during my days, but I know that hallway or that main area where we shot it used to be just incredibly loud.
All the time, yeah, it was. And then the area where we first shot it, it's always super quiet there. I don't know why. It's like the library, I feel like, but everyone's like, huh. And so we were kind of like, can we really shout in here? But we could talk in there. It was funny.
It gave me an opportunity to just kind of make fun of the whole collector culture. Even as a collector myself, there's a lot of crazy stuff I have. And some of it's just so off the wall crazy. I don't even understand why I own it. But there's some collectors that will go out and own the weirdest stuff because it's part of a brand.
Yeah.
Like I think in the skit, we decided to have it just be like a pregnancy test or something weird like that. But there are like, it's so weird because there are people that will collect every single detail as long as it's part of a brand.
Yeah.
And not to make fun of those people at all too, because I'm a huge nerd myself, like I said. But I thought it would be a super funny situation to have like this diehard collector looking for something that even looks to be like trash. Like, and I can talk more about this, our artifact of the actual skit. But
you still own it?
I have no idea how I became in possession of it.
Maybe it was like a family passed it down in Christmas every year.
It could have been. It was kind of funny because I think my wife one time was just like, well, maybe you should check that out and see if it like says, you know, see if it's some kind of like German workshop thing. And I'm just like, I guess it could be. And I look in the bottom of it and it says like made in China. I'm just like,
yeah, no, I don't think so. That's so funny.
Come to think of it, I think I bought this thing because of how weird it was. I wanted to find like the weirdest Christmas. It was like towards Christmas time, and I wanted to find the weirdest Christmas decoration I could possibly find. And I thought Santa Claus's head coming out of a tree was,
Yeah, that's so weird. Like, who thinks of that? You'd think you're like, like, who thought of that? It's funny.
and
Um,
I think it was supposed to be like a candle holder because for the longest time I didn't know what on earth it was.
oh yeah, because it is a candle holder. Like I remember we had some that were like Christmas decorations when I was growing up, and they looked weird too. Don't feel bad. Christmas decorations, put the candle in. But it was really funny, and I do think it's really funny that you mentioned the collector's mentality because it is kind of funny. You find things that you're like, why do I have this? Or like every person has probably got some weird thing, and you're like, why do you own this? And you're like, I don't know, I just have it.
Yeah, I think one of the best quotes I ever heard is the collector chooses the collection, not the, well, I forget the rest of the quote. But the collector chooses the collection. But then there are, like I said, there are some people that just collect it just because it's part of the brand.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. Well, it's been a pleasure to be on. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a blast talking about all of the memories that we had. I mean, it seems like it's been 10 years since we recorded that, and it was only a year ago. It's crazy to think that before everything happened, COVID and everything. But I will say, I'm going to reiterate, my favorite memory was us coming in thinking it would only take 30 minutes to get out. We were like, okay, we're going to just film it, get all of it in, and then we're just going to leave. We'll be done in 30 minutes. No. And then Mr. Bailey gets in there, and he's like, no, we got to retake it from every angle. We got to do it. And he was right. We did. We didn't know that, but we did it. And then we were like, crap, it's been 2 hours and we still haven't filmed the last part. Let's just finish it real fast. It was so funny. Oh, I'll never forget that. That was hilarious. And all the music playing just made it better.
Oh,
Echoed
yes.
laughter.
Well, I appreciate having you on once again. And thank you for your time. For this last bit of content today, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce a short montage film that was created during the Great Snowmageddon of 2021. So, one may ask, what do you do when you're trapped inside all day long? Something I'm sure many of us can relate to now. This last skit, Cabin Fever, say it with me now, has the answer to that question. As you can see here, cabin fever relates to many of us nowadays. I mean, heck, look, I grew a beard in that time of the short. Cabin fever made me actually grow facial hair in the meantime. So, on to some of the technical aspects of this film. Once again, this was a one-man show. I starred, directed, and edited. And of course, when you have all three of those positions, it becomes a little bit difficult. I didn't have a dummy or something to put on lens to get the shot right. So I had to just kind of go with what I could get and replay it and see if it would be good enough. It ended up too dark because for some reason I thought that if I changed some of the like lighting, it might make it look more cinematic, and that was for the worst. So don't try doing this at home, please. The editing wasn't too hard though. Editing was pretty fun, and as a matter of fact, one of my favorite parts in editing was the guitar skit, the guitar pick falling into the guitar. As a guitarist myself, I've had that issue quite a few times. And funny enough, to get that shot of me putting the guitar in the pick was actually harder than it would have been all these years to try and not do that. I've done it by accident multiple times, but when you try to do it on purpose, you can't get the pick and the guitar. It's kind of funny. Once again, one of the shots was way too white, noticing it. But that has a lot to do with the challenge of getting that shot. Believe it or not, that shot of me opening up the door was the hardest one to get because I had to get someone else to have the camera running while I opened it. And while I had the door open, we had to put my dogs into another room. And of course, they're screeching, they're barking, they're yelling, they're upset that they're in this other room. But it made the hardest shot to get because we had to open the door and we can't have them run out of the house. That was one of the reasons why the shot came too white, though. I couldn't really supervise it for that long, but it all turned out in the end. I'm sure it has a lot to do with the snow. It kind of blends in with the whole snow aspect, come to think of it. There was, along with challenges on shots, there was a I guess you could say written deleted scene. It was never made, but there was a reaction shot I had to cut because I was running low on the battery at the time. After I look into the cabinet, which I got to get more into this later. After I look into the cabinet, I was going to do a reaction shot of me like looking upset, and of course I had to cut it because the battery on the camera was dying, and I was running out of time shooting as it was. But back to that cabinet too. So one of the cool things about this was I did this film in a place that I just moved to. So I was able to maneuver around a lot of the shots. For instance, that cabinet shot was actually just a closet because our cabinet was full of food and I didn't want to like have all this food and stuff. That kind of defeats the whole purpose of the actual skit. But yeah, the cabinet shot was actually just a closet, an empty closet and an empty room that we haven't done anything with, as well as that ending shot too, with me bouncing the ball up against the wall, which I got to say, that was another shot that was a lot harder to get than I thought it would be. I went through so many takes trying to get a good take of me just bouncing that ball up against the wall. It was incredibly difficult. Way more difficult than it really needed to be. Lastly, I'd like to talk about the music. So the music was very fun because I created the music myself. I had the guitar that was actually in the skit was the guitar I used to make the music for the skit, which is actually kind of funny in the end. All it was I recorded a lead melody. I recorded a rhythm, and then I just recorded myself beating on the guitar. Well, not beating it, but just kind of like a quick alternative sound, or not alternative, hipster, I guess, sound. Not too sure on the case of the music right there, but just like a standard beat. You need some kind of rhythm or something with it. Anyways, this concludes the last skit we have for today. Once again, I thank you again for tuning in. On the subject of tuning, stay tuned for the next episode of Unscripted Laughter. We don't know when it'll be here, but hopefully it'll be here not too long after this one. Episode 3, Tre or Toi. I know I said I was going to ask payment for more language lessons, but I'll give that one on the house for tuning in. Thank you again for watching, and until next time.